everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. If this is your third Matlock Season 2 episode review, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world. It's finally happened. It's sweater season. It's time for the long sleeves to come back out. It's getting cold. I can't quite turn on my house heater yet because someone's still using their AC, even in the end of October. But just trekking along here. So I apologize if you don't see my usual hand movements as normal. My hands are kind of freezing right now. I just put on a sweater for the review. I was going to go like another week without it, but it is what it is. This week, I'm Matlock. I thought it was a banger. I never usually normally that word. No, it was a really powerful episode. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's guest stars galore. It's also just for the existing cast. It's just another. I think this is like the culmination of the 3-part premiere-ish. Like going into the next episode, I have a feeling we're gonna kind of get into now the meat of the season, and I'm very excited to see what they have in store to keep things fresh, keep things entertaining, keep things going with the storyline. As this episode is the episode where we are introducing a couple of new characters. Hopefully they'll be around in the larger Matlock storyline as we progress through the rest of season 2 now. And I just think that wholeheartedly this was just another fantastic episode. Everyone was on A cylinders here. And it kind of makes me questionable, like, how the hell are they going to wrap this season up? Like, I already have theories for, like, the end of season 2. We don't even know, like, half of the stuff that's about to come out. And I'm very excited to see where we're going to be taking as a resort on that. So, without all that being said, I just want to get down into it. Let's get into the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Matlock. So we begin. It's another day at the firm. I already forgot the name of the damn firm. And Olivia's talking to someone. We don't know exactly who. This is just after she basically told Maddie and Edwin, "Go fuck yourselves. You guys have no leverage over me. If you really want to do things right, you're gonna do things my way, and that's the only way." And Maddie's starting to find attributes, to find avenues to kind of stick it to Olympia. She may not have her calling cards anymore from a exposure standpoint, but she does have like some techniques to delay the inevitable, which one being like she's gonna like kind of stay firm where she's at. So Olympia thought she was gonna call out, take a PTO day, kind of just kind of lick her wounds a little bit, kind of take the day up. And now she's like, nah, I'm here, I'm chilling. I brought a fern. Gonna be in the office from now. I'm gonna make it more homey for me, personally speaking. And Olympia's like, okay, well, you do what you want. I mean, look, we're just gonna, do what we can now. Well, now we're both of you and me. We're on the senior trail right now. We're gonna take things one step at a time. We're gonna do things my way, and as long as it might take. That's kind of where she's at right now on the Olympia side of things. However, sadly, when they do come upstairs to kind of, start the day off, they got a case already ready to roll out. Sadly, there's a bit of commotion from, I forgot her name already, and I'm very sad to say that it's the computer server leader who has become besties somewhat with Maddie over the last season. And she's kind of saying, oh, like, things are going on, so to speak. Also, to commenting that, like, oh yeah, that fern is way over policy limit. You might want to get a pre-approval from someone else before you bring that over here. But Maddie doesn't mind, considering the fact she sees everyone kind of like speculating, talking to each other, kind of trying to get the vibe what's going on. And Sarah and Billy just flat out say, yeah, so apparently there's an all hands on deck meeting right now with the higher, the big brass, the big cojones, that they're coming over here because apparently someone from the Times reached out to the firm and is asking questions about a possible mishandlement about the Wells Brexit matter. And now everyone knows, like, oh, who's investigating Wells Brexit? That was over a decade ago. What's going on here? And everyone's on high alert. There are 4 big shot, like the real, like, because Senior is the top dog of everything, of the New York firm, at least. And these are the other figures from all over the country coming over because this is essentially damage control time. This is really the moment we're getting in, like like these big shot names and everything. And then we got to our first a new Jane the Virgin alum. I completely forgot who she was in the show. I know she was in Jane the Virgin. I believe she was Rogelio's brief girlfriend, if they were like doing it for clout during the time jump of that show, I can't remember, to be honest with you. I really cannot. But what I can say is that she's here, she still got sass, and she is Senior's ex-wife of 15 years. So I'm like, how kind of convenient, like they divorced around the time of the Wellbrecht somehow. How convenient is that? But it's always great to see another familiar face on the larger spirit. That's not the only familiar face we have for this week's episode. No. There's still two more I'll speak about for now. But yeah, once Olympia and Maddie hear about the Wellbrechts name mentioned, they're just kind of like eyeing each other like, whoa, you wonder how that got leaked, so to speak. And they're just assuming that, like, yeah, it's a reporter from some sort, because as Olympia kind of tails Maddie away to kind of have a private discussion with her, they speak about the matter, and Maddie's like, well, I mean, to be fair, I did schedule a whole meeting with the Times and had to basically ghost them. So, of course, I don't blame them for being curious of the fact that there's possibly a story here. I don't really blame them. But now everyone's on high alert because Senior knows. It's like, okay, he knows what really is going on. He's able to kind of pull up of a facade. And now he's kind of like, I got to find the leak. I got to find the mole. I got to find whoever freaking leaked it, because that person is going to jeopardize his specific future. He doesn't want that. He really doesn't. And, you know, it's the same thing I think I mentioned back in season 1, where, like, you target someone with power. You target someone that is rich. If you try to fuck them, they will fuck you back first, because they refuse to lose that position. They'll do everything they can. They will legit do every single ounce to maintain their status quo. They'll do anything. I kid you me, anything. Now all the New York partners are having to be flown into the meeting just to kind of, you know, speak on this matter, specifically speaking. So Olympia has to go and take care of it. Maddie's on standby patrol while Billy and Sarah have to go deal with the case of the week, which involves a family business gone awry. The brother got bought out of the business, but sadly he's now started a new food truck. It literally is the identical copy of the original restaurant, so she's suing for copyright infringement. So Sarah and Billy are going to be going kind of duo to solo today, speaking with that specific matter. We pop into the meeting where all the partners kind of like, again, Senior speaking spiel, like, I have no idea. This is just probably a disgruntled employee making up something that could seem big, but, you know, we don't tolerate that here. We don't tolerate that here, and there's nothing to worry about. There was no tampering in that matter. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wean out that associate, wean out that employee, and then take care of it properly. And then just throw this under the rug, essentially speaking. Olympia gets singled out because, you know, this is her first all-hands partner meeting. And, you know, not only just for, like, a minor introduction, so to speak, he does introduce her to a specialty, a secret weapon they have during these sort of incidents. She meets the Wolf, played by the Rookie's Fed alum, which we had reviewed on the channel, sadly, when that got canceled. Special Agent... Fuck, I forgot his name. I really did. It's been a while since we reviewed that show, so I do apologize. But he was Simone's TO, essentially. Well, TA at the time, so... no, it's great to see. I was like, is that him? It's like, it kind of looks like it. And I had to go on IMDb while we were on the break, and I was like, damn, that's him. That was literally him. And I'm like, oh my god, dude, it's so great to see him again. Hopefully he becomes like a recurring guest star, because I just... He's a great guy. He's a great actor. He deserves more work coming his way. But yeah, no. So from there, so now, you know, he's the top dog. He can legit wean out any sort of suspicious parties. So he's the one that is gonna probably find the person the Senior's looking for, which obviously scares Olympia, because right now, you know, we're just all over the place, kind of thing. Billy and Sarah head down to the courthouse to begin their case. Actually, no. They have a meeting with their client first, with Maddie, before she gets benched officially. And the last one is Yelena Nicole Brown, who plays Helen in Drake and Josh. And ironically, just today, as I'm recording this, they confirmed she will be a official series regular on the Victoria spinoff that supposedly is in the work of Nickelodeon, which I'm like, yeah, definitely they're jumping that Paramount Plus ship. They already know that ship is faulty. Which no shade to CBS, because they put their stuff on here, which we're actually reviewing it from. So no shade specifically to them. I'm like, y'all cancel Frasier, the revival. Y'all cancel iCarly, the revival. Don't you blame Nickelodeon for like trying to make something work. on a different platform. Don't. But yeah, no, she she was in my childhood, and I know she's been in other shows. Especially we did Suits LA last television season. We reviewed that. She was guest star over there, so she's still working the field. She's still working. But yeah, but so she's the defense trying to get this figured out, so to speak. And Maddie working her charm, saying that maybe when we win this case and we move on from this, we can all go to your place and get some really delicious fried chicken. I'm like, kind of craving fried chicken right now. I might get some Korean fried today. But yeah, no. So going from there, we cut over back to. Olympia comes in. She takes Maddie away. They got to deal on another matter. Sarah and Billy are heading down to the courthouse, and that's when Sarah starts to vocally voice her unpleasantness over this entire situation, because she senses the vibe, she senses there's a rift, and now she kind of is worried, like, are they gonna break up? Because they're kind of like our mom figures. Olympia's our boss, Maddie's kind of like our grandma, so it's like, what kind of analogy is that? But Billy's trying to calm her down, because the fact he doesn't even have time to deal with her, because he's got his own ball of wax, since he and his baby mama are in the planning stages right now of things, and all of Billy's sisters wants to become the godmother to the child, and Billy's just kind of not in a place to say no to anyone, especially since he has 4 sisters all begging to be the godmother. So especially it's not looking good for him, but he's trying to mitigate it and at least give Sarah full control over this case. That's kind of like a suspense to her current situation right now. Olympia does take Maddie off for a second on things and trying to consult her. She got an interview with the Wolf coming up. If the Wolf can sense out bullshit and everything, what can Maddie do to kind of help Olympia out to kind of get along through this interview? And Maddie's giving her some pointers, well, you got to make sure your body posture also agrees with you, because people can lie with their mouth, but their body posture also gives out signs that you're not fully believing in what you're saying, so to speak. So that's the first thing. And also to kind of respond at a very slow yet appropriate pace, so that if a later question comes up and you need a little extra time to think about it, then you have within that automatically set preset amount of time to think about it before you have to speak up about it. And of course, obviously, Olympia's kind of also pointing shots at Maddie for the entire thing. I'm learning from the master. You did this for almost an entire year, and Maddie's also not taking kind to that. But it is what it is with that specific standpoint of the matter. And so I did forget to say, Maddie did signal back to Edwin and Augie that something was happening at the firm. It could be potentially game over for her, and obviously Augie's just making sure hey, you gotta pull out, come on, come back to the house, at least stay with us, you'll be safe. But Maddie's no, this might be my only chance to really kind of make sure no one suspects Maddie, because if Maddie leaves throughout the day right now during this entire thing, it's an act of guilt and stuff like that. So they're especially going to be doubling down on her specifically. So from there, I want to say we get over to. Yeah, I know there's an update on Augie's dad where last week that Edwin wrote the check for him to go to rehab and everything, and thankfully he did check in. He does want to improve for Augie, which is a good sign for Maddie and Edwin. But how that does open the door to something else, which we'll talk about later on in the episode. So from there, Sarah and Billy head over with Yolette to fight her brother in court. Sarah's got a very tight knit argument in place, very long, very dry. And the judge is shorter words, please. And then even when she's about to do an abbreviated version, she's like, shorter words, please. I don't got time for all this. And I'm quick and go, so to speak. Eventually, Sarah states her point, this is clearly copyright infringement. Clearly. But however, she does not quite rule on that yet, considering the fact the brother is still within somewhat of statutes of limitation, considering the fact they are family, and that the family secrets were also disclosed to him. So yeah, it does kind of create a wedge in their argument right now, so to speak. So letting the two novices kind of take over this case is not quite the best time period for Olympia to kind of pass along on that sort. Olympia does her meeting with the Wolf, and it goes fairly well, except one piece of information, sadly, which we'll get back to momentarily. So after all that's said and done, Maddie has lunch with her friend, the computer server, lady, and she tells her the truth, kind of, that that while she may not have been the newest leak, and probably the reason why the Times are looking into this, she did admit that some time ago she did leak online that there was an issue at the firm about Will Brexton, and she was kind of hoping someone would try to get traction on it. I guess finally, after all this time, someone is, which obviously she doesn't know it's Maddie, but Maddie tries to maintain her neutrality, her secretness, and just said, like, well, don't view what you did as a negative thing. If you felt strongly that this was something that was hurting people, you did the right thing by telling someone out there that now someone's carrying on that good work for you. And she's also debating of, like, telling that to the people, just like, well, I mean, I know I'm guilty, and maybe if that's the reason what they're looking at, then I might as well confess to let everyone else kind of, go about their day. She's willing to sacrifice herself, which Manny doesn't want that, considering the fact that, she's a good worker, she had good intentions, she doesn't deserve to be penalized for it. So she goes to Olympia with the news that, she's telling her the truth, like, she's the Redditor, she's the entire reason why I'm even here right now in front of you, because if it wasn't for her, none of what has happened the last year would even have occurred. And I don't feel good by throwing her under the bus right now. So I'm trying to find other avenues. And obviously Olympia said, well, you trained me to be a liar, which it worked. Now you can do the same for her. But it's not the same. You already have the skills, the abilities to just pick up on that. She doesn't even have close to that. And even when I tell her the truth, but it was me, I'm the one who was the leaker. I was the one who found your Reddit post, and as well as the same time, I'm the same person who did to your dog last season. She's immediately going to be pissed off at Maddie. So they don't even have enough time to get her for an entire emotion acceptance arc, as well as the same time train her to lie to a trained professional. There's just no time for that. So they cannot throw her under the bus right now. They can't put her into the fold. We just don't have time for that. So they don't really have much of a choice but for Maddie to just go ahead and just pitch them. Maybe Julian will go to the Times, collaborate everything, at least to kind of get this off of her back. And Olympia's like, no, this is just more what you want. Get this case over with so y'all can go back to your life and let us deal with the fallout. It's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen. These options are on the table. And then Sarah kind of comes in trying to get a approval on her injunction, but Olivia's like, if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for you. Just approve it, send it in. Which I'm like, Olympia, you are just not on your A game today. You are not. So they settled. They squashed that for the time being. I know Julian also pops in at some point with Olympia, saying that, hey, this might be a good thing. We find the leak, we eliminate the third party, and if it's just you and me that are in knowledge, and we're not going to do anything about it, then yeah, we can just kind of move on with our lives. And Olivia doesn't give like a direct answer to that. She just says, well, yeah, but the way you say, yeah, you're not totally wrong about it. So I want to say, I'm trying to remember exactly where we are going with this. I'm trying to remember the order spiel things. I believe we go back to court, and Olivia now takes over the case now that she's fully attentive on it. But sadly, it doesn't go her way specifically, as it doesn't really rule in anyone's favor, so there's no progress to be made there. She even advises Iolette's character to just kind of go in and like look for every restaurant checklist and try to make sure and see where could have your brother just copy and paste from. We could use that as some sort of like meat bones for the next court hearing, to try and figure that out. Even Maddie trying to chime in a little bit on certain things, but however, sadly, Olivia just kind of shoots her down. Like, but Maddie's not your representation. I'm your representation. So don't what her opinion is doesn't really matter to right now. We'll focus on me. And obviously Sarah and Billy are reading that into it's like, yeah, definitely they're beefing right now. For whatever reason, they're beefing. They ain't vibing as normal. So definitely they're just kind of, the worried ship is kind of continuing as a result of that. So I believe from there, yeah, no, I forgot to see that. Yeah. Eventually, Olympia goes back to Billy and Sarah after the original court hearing, and Billy kind of snaps for a little bit, like, you got to, pull your shit together because like Sarah's getting affected by your workload. And Olivia doesn't respond to it right away. She is like getting ready to explode herself, but Billy's like, let's just focus on the case. I'll follow up on this. Let me handle it. So from there, before everything kind of closes out for the night, I think Maddie's just trying to pivot again to pitching to Olympia for Julian to confess, but Olympia's like, that doesn't matter because right now I have a second interview with the Wolf, because during her original interview she mentions the New York Times, which is what her and Maddie know, but however Senior and the other people didn't disclose that to the partners that it was the New York Times. So how does she have access to that information is a little unclear for Wolf. That's why he wants to get her back into the room for another round of interrogation. And that would mean digital forensics, getting the laptop, which has all the recordings. It's already in the AI form. Like, it's already there. Like, if they even get access to it, it's game over for Olympia. The whole case falls apart. So they're really kind of running out of options here. She pivots again at throwing the other person under the bus. Matt even suggests, like, let's get a completely random third-party person, has no relation with the firm anymore, maybe someone that already passed away, and we planned it on him. The leak was a while ago. He already passed away. There's no way to collaborate, so it kind of like really is not the best thing, but they're kind of running an idea. They really are. Maddie goes back home to Edwin, trying to talk it out through him. Like, she's just very upset of everything right now. On two fronts. One, it's just everything going on. The fact she might have to throw her friend under the bus just to kind of keep the investigation going a little longer. She feels bad about it because, like, again, all of she wanted to do was in her good intentions of just making sure that this information gets to the proper people, to get to someone that could potentially do something about it. And she's getting penalized for it. Like, she doesn't accept that. And the second notion is that the whole Joey, Augie's dad, going to rehab, even though that it's a good sign for him, just a matter of, like, he's going to be on a very hard wean. He's going to have to get rid of all the drugs. He's going to have a very difficult recovery period. And there's still a chance he might relapse. The fact that they might have to do everything all over again like they did for their daughter, and now Augie's going to be fully cognizant to fully witness that, is just a lot for Maddie to go for right now. Like, again, she just kind of wants this to be behind her. Go back to how things were. That's all she's kind of hoping for, but sadly, that's just not the cadence right now with things. And Edwin's trying to calm her down, trying to make her understand. Look, I get where you're coming from. I really do, and I want to be at the end of this too. But as of right now, we have to play our cards strategically well to get the best possible result. We want justice for Sarah. We want her to be avenged by what everyone has done to her, and we have to follow the correct course of action. And Maddie, like, shakes, she agrees, and from there they're just like, okay, then what do we exactly do, so to speak. So we got to the next day. I believe I completely missed the scene where everyone is talking to Yolette and her brother about everything, just trying to, like, iron it all out, so to speak, and just again try to keep this specifically on Yolette's character, trying to, like, make everyone know, like, Nana trusted me with the family secrets. So it's only on me to do this. And the brother's like, that's what you did. Yeah, you had a close relationship with her. I'm not going to deny that. But we had a relationship too. She told me about the secrets too. And our cousins were there too. And they could collaborate with me, that this wasn't something that only specifically you had to know. She told me and she begged me, work with your sister. Just try to work with her. And the reason why I did the food truck, because you want to go this expensive route, this very over the price route that, may or may not have success. And, I was going to have to hope that you would come back to me with some sense of mind that, okay, we're going to do this very frugal. We're going to do this very slow and deliberate. And that's kind of where he's at play here right now, trying to figure it out. All he wants now is just an equal partnership, where he has some say too, and that they can both go together with this business for the future. He'll shut down the truck, he'll shut down everything, but he wants security that he's going to have a say at the table, like a proper say. And that's what Yolette's character is afraid of, considering the fact that all of her life she's been, kind of ignored because her brother is a more sociable person. He's more of the people person, and he's always the one, like, people are looking at first, not her. So the fact she got attention from anyone is a blessing, and the fact she was given such a moral responsibility to keep the family legacy alive, whether it's for, within the family or for e-commerce, that, that was the avenue she had taken. She's scared that if she gives her brother any power, any legitimate power, that she will be fleshed out because he'll take over everything. And Maddie and Olympia at least agree that, well, if you want to maintain full ownership and full control, or like at least a good amount of control, then you're going to have to, stand up tight and just kind of, figure, put yourself in the business. Like, you keep your aunt's legacy alive by, like, putting her face on every single piece of wares. Do the same for yourself. Make sure that you're there too. Make sure that you cannot be ignored. Even if that means, like, plastering your face on a cup, like, so they'll remember you. And, she's down for the idea. And Maddie's like, yeah, that's what we'll do. we'll meet halfway with them. And also even that, like saying like that, like kind of also convinces Olympia, like, okay, I see what she's saying. Maybe she finally understands my point of view. Maddie goes to speak to her friend, trying to let her know, like, you look, you did the right thing because you did a noble thing. And whatever happens next, I think, you can at least know in your heart you did the correct thing that you believed in. And that's when the lady's like, you know what? I'm already going to get fired anyway. Might as well go down, give that person like this fighting in the shadows a longer chance to build their case. So she goes in, she talks to the wolf and to Senior, letting them know it was me. I leaked the Reddit form many, many years ago. I tipped the New York Times, so that's why we're in this predicament. And I can tell from Senior's body language when Olympia's watching that interview from a distance that, like, he's like, it was you. You trying to ruin everything. I can tell he's keeping his composure. He was like, I was so close to ruining everything because of you, and I want to make sure you never step foot here. Kicking her out, throwing her on the street, not like physically throwing her, but like kind of like escorting her off the building and everything, trying to like move past things. She meets up with Maddie at a local bar. Even though she's kind of satisfied with what she did, like, it still kind of shook Senior to his core, the fact that he almost got busted, he almost got exposed. But she also views at the same time, well, like, what am I going to do? Like, retirement's still a year away. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to survive? And I'm just like, yeah, that's the hard reality of it too. Like, Maddie just also realized that they just took away her livelihood. So from there, I believe we get back to the firm now that the case is all said and done. Sarah did get an apology text from Olympia over her behavior towards her because of the whole Maddie thing. And it at least gives her some grace, and she also admits to Billy like the reason why she was so holed up on is like the last time she felt like she had a family to an extent was her real family growing up, and when she left for college, the week later she got told her parents are getting divorced, that they weren't going to be pursuing forward with their relationship, and it hurt her because she doesn't want to lose any aspect of family again. And, at least while she still has Billy, that, that she does really care for Olympia and Maddie. It's like this little tightening group they have over here that they developed, especially over the last year. And Billy also sees her strength and also gets inspired by her to like just speak up for himself. Like, at the end of the day, the godmother decision is going to be by the parents, not the family. And she lets everyone know that. However, sadly, the family does kind of blow up because like, no, you're supposed to decide today. We need to know for the celebration. And Billy's like, okay, hide this away. We can't let anyone. We can't let anyone see this. We can't. So yeah, from there, I believe we get back over yet to Edwin. Oh yeah, there was a sus scene where Julian was looking at Maddie at a very suspicious light, where Maddie doesn't usually express her go-go attitude. So I'm pretty sure that's going to come back and play, but it doesn't come back for the rest of this episode specifically. Maddie meets up with Olympia, this time to apologize, saying that I should have taken your perspective a little bit more into consideration. I have done some thinking about it, and I really do believe that despite our circumstances right now, we do need to work together. We do need to team up to take down Senior once and for all. And Olympia's like, okay, I can see this time you actually mean that you want to take down Senior together. But Maddie does give some terms and conditions that are non-negotiable. That even if Julian isn't going to be charged federally because of this, he maybe do an accessory, but he probably won't face too much specific time. That when everything's over and he does find out about everything properly, that she wants him to apologize in front of her, Edwin, and Augie for the damage he inadvertently done to their family. And Olympia's like, I will make sure that happens one day or another. And now they're like, okay, next we got to focus on the case at hand. Now that we got to go back to Senior's secret girlfriend during the time period. Sadly there isn't much else. She knows she lives in Hell Kitchen, but besides that, they don't really have much to go on to really kind of connect with the person to kind of give them a sense of comfortability. And it would have been made a little bit more easier if they were able to get the expense account for the World Brexit matter so that they could track Senior's movements with her. And Maddie's like, yeah, you're totally right. I wish we had gotten that access before we lost one of our best players. And she slides over a file where while she was picking up her friend's stuff, she also logged into her computer to get access to all the financial paperwork from that time period. So now they can really track into detail what exactly they were doing in hopes to have the best possible chance to get what they need to get. And yeah, so now they got a plan, they got a battle plan, and that was it for this week's episode of Matlock. I've like I said before, this was a banger. This was a really great episode. Everything it just worked. You know, we had the primary fun, we had the guest star, we had the case of the week, we had all the characters were flying on cylinders. It was great. It was really, really great. I really enjoyed it much more than the last two episodes. So I really like the incline that we are going on this again. Now, finally, Maddie and Olympia seem to be finally on the right team together. I have high hopes that that's going to work out beneficially for them, and that they can, you know, start to really repair the ship. Right now, doesn't seem like there's anything on the horizon, you know. And this should be fun to see Maddie and Olympia kind of do this tangle together, properly speaking. Now, finally, someone on the same page. Will shit still come up? I really don't know. And that's the joy of it. I really can't wait to see it. And yeah, and also I found a little ironic on the Sarah Billy stuff with everything that's going on in the real world. I just find that ironic. Getting to see alums from past shows that I've watched and reviewed is cool. Is great to see. I really much love that. To see more familiar faces pop up in new avenues. That's been like a treat to be witness of. So I really can't wait to see hopefully more out of them. And yeah, as we continue to tighten the leash on Senior, you know, I can't wait to see how that's going to progress. I can't wait to see how that's all going to, you know, shake out in the end. But, you know, we still got a whole season to go, so I'm looking forward to it. I really am. But with all that being said, I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of this week's episode of Matlock. Did you love it? Did you like it? Let me know down below. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the 2 from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the second season of Matlock. If you want to know what we're doing normally on What's the 2 besides our Matlock episode reviews. Right now, we're not doing anything on concurrently. However, a little scheduling update. We will not have the next Matlock episode review live in time for next week. However, I can say that you will still be getting a What's on the Tube episode next week. It will be a Halloween special. We are going back to the Nancy Drew-niverse with Nancy Drew Season 3, our definitive review. We'll be out by Halloween date. We will be back with Matlock the following week. I do apologize. There's just scheduling does not make it very easy right now to kind of fit that in right now with next week's festivities. So you will still get an episode, but we will be a little bit delayed as promised when we were doing our episode run review for the season. So again, stay tuned for that. But we will be back very soon with more Matlock, so don't worry about that. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media for more. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there and be good to each other. And as always, peace out.